Hey, Nazu here. Today I'm going to go for part 4 of What If My Hero Academia was like an RPG. In the last part, in the anime it was the hero versus villain test that All Might did. In this, it was basically adventure versus adventurer instead. Um, Deku's team won simply because Ochako was able to beat Ida and then go for that treasure that they were supposed to find. So Deku's an alpha, Shoto's a royal, Ochako's an omega, Tsuyu's another royal, and Kirishima's an alpha. Royals have two subcategories, have two categories in them, which is basically because they gain the exact same boost. It's just that it differs from male to female. Male is king, female is queen. For alpha and omega, it's different. The alpha can get more physical strength and defense, while the omega can have more magical strength and defense. I don't think I explained that part, but yeah, basically they get, well, royal, alpha, omegas, they all get a bigger boost when they level up, as well as having the capacity to learn more spells and stuff. So yeah, now, like I explained in the last part, they go for the strongest in the class to basically for class president. Since they don't vote for that, it's more like, okay, yeah, the strongest one is going to be the one in charge if there's no teacher. The attack on the school didn't really happen like in the anime. In this one, it was more of a special spell basically used for um, spying that was used to basically find out where they were going. Because every adventure school have multiple faculties where they train for different things. Class 1A will go to each of them at one point or another. So for the USJ, since there's no real stuff like that, I had asked on Discord between a trap removal faculty where they basically teach you how to disarm different types of traps, or a monster fighting faculty where they basically take monsters that are specially bred and basically made to have specific levels. Basically, they in that one they use those type of those monsters to basically teach the adventurers in training how to fight different types of monsters and explain and let them find the weaknesses of said type of monsters and see how fast they can do that. Only one person voted, it was Gray, for the trap removal. The reason it's important is actually because, well, there's more than just two facilities for those. It's just that those two were the ones that I wanted, well, that I decided that I would use one of them. So, basically, while they go there, um, since they don't have car, they use carriages that move with magic, or sometimes still with horses or other types of monsters that are basically tamed. The one they use for transporting students is basically one of the magical one, so that there is no need for a monster or a horse to basically pull the entire charge. All Might's not there still because of the time limit. Bakugo has One for All to basically try and give him the same boost as an Alpha or a Royal would get, given to him by All Might. And so we go in the way before the USJ. In this, what is asked is more, well, by Tsuyu, is more what are the specialty of everyone, because, well, like, firstly she asked Deku and Bakugo because they seem to know each other, which they explained that from childhood they were in the same classes, well, in the same schools. Well, yeah, schools basically. Um, that um, he, well, that Deku was an alpha that is a bit stronger than normal alphas for some reason, weirdly. Which they ask, what do you mean weirdly? Which he says, well, Bakugo says because he's able to eat stuff, which pretty sure you've learned by now. And every time he eats something, the strongest stats that that monster had, one point is added to that of this guy, which as well as increasing level and increasing his stats faster than normal people, he also gains stats every time he eats a monster. Which they look at him and ask him how powerful he is, with Deku basically saying, oh, you know, over level 300 for someone normal. Which most of them basically didn't train as strong as Bakugo and Deku. The only one that have something close to that is Shoto. He's a royal. And basically he's just looking at Deku and ask, and what's, wait, your power is for someone that would be over level 300. Whoa, that's a lot. I know Shoto normally doesn't talk that much, but basically, an alpha just told him that, well, an alpha that doesn't even have a hero parent, basically just told him that he's stronger than himself, well, that him, simply because Shoto trained with his dad a freaking huge amount. But his power is would be that of, if we count a normal person, around a 290 only. That's pretty high. Still higher than pretty much everyone else, if you don't count those two. Which Bakugo basically says, so you're still weaker than me. With Shoto looking at him like, what? You're not even a royal or an omega, so how strong would you be? With Deku saying to him, you know, his power is huge, and he has two quirks. His explosion quirk and another one that boosts his power while he uses it. While using that, he's still weaker than me, but at least he's pretty powerful. When I actually go all out, my power actually almost reaches that of a level at 360. Normally I only go to 120, 130 max, but if I really push myself, I can go that far. Which basically Shoto just hears blah blah blah, I can boost myself even stronger than you. Because in this one he has a lot more pride, simply because his father is the second best adventurer. His father still wants to try and be the best, still push his son to basically try and make him stronger than himself. And basically, stuff happens. Frodo still hates his dad and doesn't want to use his fire side, but still, he has more power, control, and almost everything over it. Um, Not long after basically talking like that, um, they arrive to the um, trap removal faculty, which basically they just call it Building H, which basically the reason they call it that is because each different building, um, they placed a letter from the order that they were built. This one is the the H, so there were some more that were built afterward as well, so it's still, there's more than just that. And basically, when they get out, it's Cell 13, which her quirk is a bit different. She doesn't have the same suit. Um, she still has gloves. Well, not really gloves, more like gauntlets that still does the same thing. But the rest of her suit is basically just a full armor instead. She basically explained where they are, tells them that this is Building H, the trap removal faculty, where they teach students how to remove different types of traps, or how to go over them, or how to actually place some of them. So they enter. Basically, they look around, and what they see is different types of place: a jungle, a city, a temple. There is well, there is a giant pool which doesn't have a ship on it this time. It's basically for underwater stuff. There's an island in the middle that's basically floating, which still has some trap on it, as well as a burning terrain that's basically like lava mountains and stuff like that instead of buildings on fire. So they enter, they start advancing, she basically starts explaining, and then they see the portal in the middle. When they come out, firstly there's still Shigaraki, the Nomu, which is a lot different in this one. You'll see why. After that, there's multiple villains starting to come out, as well as different monsters. Not too big of a monster, but basically it's the quirk of one person, basically allowing him to control them, and it's basically the max that he can do right now. So they have like 20 or something, well, yeah, 20 or something Silver Wolf, and around 20, no, that's, why did I say slime on that part? Okay, that's really weird. I wrote I wrote Silver Wolves and slimes. Why would I put slimes? Well, I wrote that. Guess that's what I'm going with. Yeah, so I don't know why I put that. So yeah. Um, Basically, the first thing Aizawa decides to do is tell everyone to run. Um, Except that he looks at Deku and literally tells him, "You fight with me." Which Bakugo and Shoto hears that. Shoto goes to try and go, but sees Aizawa telling him to run. So they continue. This time the doors aren't mechanicals. It's basically just giant doors that they open themselves, which weren't locked. Actually, they were still opened. So they were kind of a. So Kurogiri tried to teleport everyone. Ida was still able to escape, which he boosted his speed afterward. Everyone was basically sent to kind of the same places. The only difference is that the boat zone is an island in the middle. The place where Shoto, Toru, Momo, um, Kamnari, Earphone Jack got it's the well, it's basically the forest zone. The place where it was built, burning buildings, people that got there, instead of being building that are on fire, it's lava pits and mountains. Some get sent into a temple, well, in it, around it, basically with traps, and villains basically get sent all around in them. The only thing that's different is that Bakugo and Deku decided to stay with Aizawa running, which he got mad at Bakugo until that happened, which then he basically just told him, "Fine, we fight." With Shigaraki saw two kids and a hero, well, an adventurer basically coming, and he told all of the other ones to basically hunt them because they need the first adventurer to be destroyed, and the best way to do that is to break his spirit, so to kill all of them. So Aizawa starts fighting. Shoto, being in the same place he was, cannot, well, basically uses the same tactic against the villain he meets. Kamnari, Momo, and whatever basically do the same thing, except that instead of being um, in a desert, they're basically in a forest, just like Shoto. Kaminari is alone this time, but he still manage. Tsuyu and Mineta are together, but still manage in a different way this time, but they still manage. Simply because Tsuyu basically froze the entire place with magic. So yeah, that happened. um, Basically, the fight against the villains, the way it happened was, well, at first, the villains thought they would be able to overpower them by numbers until they saw Bakugo and Deku basically trapping them in different elements, fighting easily. Bakugo using One for All as well as his explosions and magic. Deku basically transforming his body and basically bashing through them. And then Shigaraki told the Nomu to attack. Now I'm going to tell you in detail how the Nomu actually looks. He is not human based. This is, well, in this one, this Nomu is actually a Nomu that started as a big monster. That type of monster is actually called a giant lizard. To be honest, it looks closer to a dinosaur. To be more precise, the Triceratops. Basically, it has the three horns. It just doesn't have the giant. Um, I always call it a shield on their head. They still have the horn, but it doesn't have that big piece that goes with it. It is basically around the size of, well, around twice the size of a normal human. So it's pretty big. Um, those lizards can go on two legs and basically run like that. They can also go on four and charge. The quirks added to it were, well, a regeneration quirk, a shock absorption quirk, and one other that's actually pretty freaking useful to control it. It's actually a intelligence quirk, but not the same type as the high-end Nomus in the anime. It's more like just enough for it to follow orders easily, as well as being able to make tactics to fight against its opponent, instead of just taking the hits and trying to hit back. It actually makes tactics and different way of battling. Shigaraki basically points to Deku because he sees that this kid has a great quirk, to be honest. So if they're able to catch him and bring him back, the boss is going to be able to take his quirk. So he basically tells the Nomu to attack but to keep him alive. So the Nomu basically attacks Deku. Bakugo tells him to be careful. Aizawa tells him to get the hell out of there. Deku doesn't listen. And he wants to fight that. Reason is, he knows about this type of monster. But he also knows that it's pretty hard to find, and that normally where they fight, even if you're able to kill it, normally you're not able to get a piece of it. So this is the perfect place for him to eat part of it and get more powerful. Since he doesn't get the full strength of the beast he eats, he won't get the full strength of All Might added to him. Well, the weakened All Might. But he will still get the quirks and a 1 point boost in strength, which is kind of good, but not that good. So he basically goes straight at charging and basically turns part of his body into iron beetles. Iron beetle carapace. Add to that obsidian lizard scales, as well as increasing his strength with a strength boost. And then use fire magic to basically use it like propellers to basically go faster, and tries to hit the Nomu with a full-on blast, which basically does as well as you'd think. The shock is absorbed. Deku sees the punch that the Nomu sends coming. He tries to block, and he gets broken. Like, his arms are gone almost. He is able to heal himself, healing magic mostly, as well as I think I said he had a regen, thanks to the slime part, which he transformed his body into slime and basically reforms. It still hurts like a freaking bitch. Sorry for the word, but truly. which he basically turns after he gets hurt his hand into slime parts and regenerates them thanks to, well, slime regeneration. And just realize what the hell that is. A strong ass monster that those guys are capable of controlling. Ida is just got to the school where All Might is still, instead of meeting him halfway, and they basically start. Well, Ida explains, All Might starts coming. During that time, Deku tried to do everything he could to just fight the monster. Basically, he knows that he could eat it, but he still wants to try and fight it normally. Because this Deku is a bit arrogant in that part of his body, well, in that part of his mind. Normally, he doesn't act like that, except when it's a new monster, big or someone he never met, and that they want to fight. He won't go all out at first, if he doesn't know if they're too powerful. Like, that was just. He was trying to see if he could push it around a bit. Nah, he's not. So now he goes all out. Which doesn't really do anything, because the monster is just like taking every hit. Um, Magic basically harms it, but he regenerates. His brain isn't showing compared to the original, so it's not as easy, and the head is a lot more tough than the rest of its body. So Deku is basically kind of just hitting, and then Umu's just replying with punches that are a lot stronger. Shigaraki sees that Deku is able to regenerate, which basically makes it look as if it was going to be a long battle, because Shigaraki doesn't know about the eating capacity of Deku. While that's happening, Bakugo finish up with some villains and decide to go try to help Deku, which Aizawa basically stops him, telling him that even if they try to help, that thing is too strong. They just have to hope that All Might arrives or other heroes. While that's happening, in every different part where there are traps and stuff, the students are kind of doing okay. Most of the villains are basically getting caught by the traps themselves. Most of them, since they're to teach students, aren't going to kill them, but still hurts. Thanks to Recovery Gold, they can basically just heal them. So some villains basically got themselves ended just by themselves. Everyone in Class 1A still gets a good training against, well, three things I just realized. Aizawa didn't say hero, he says let's hope other high adventurers arrive. Secondly, they're not villains, they're bad adventurers from dark guilds and stuff like that, basically. And three, yeah, Deku still has something that basically makes it so Shigaraki isn't able to scan his his body. That's one thing I should have mentioned also previously. Since Deku doesn't want to be for anyone to know what his power is, basically Shigaraki tries to scan him, he doesn't see anything, which is annoying him. So yeah, basically everyone basically got a training against dark guilds, well, dark adventurers with dark guilds. So after a while of pushing, Bakugo basically just screams at Deku, "Eat it already!" With Shigaraki basically looking at Bakugo and then saying, "Eat him?" With Deku screaming, "Fine! I just want to fight it!" And basically transform into slime form. And basically start going all around the Nomu, eating him completely. And Deku just kind of reforming in his normal body. And he felt all of that power basically being digested. He was like, damn, too bad I can't get all of the power at once. I only get 1 point. Which he basically just got 1 point in attack. Plus a super regeneration quirk, a shock absorption quirk, and a small intelligence quirk. Which Deku basically got the 3 in his stats bar. And basically just realized that, oh shit, that thing had a lot more than what I thought. After that, for the transformation part, he can literally transform into the full monster, which is a bit different than what the Nomu looked like, as well as what the Nomu looked like. So he can basically become the Nomu with all of his power, less the stats that goes with it. So Shigaraki got scared because, oh shit, that kid just ate the Nomu. All Might basically barged in, saw Shigaraki, saw every villains. Basically, he was mad, and Shigaraki told Kurogiri, "We're going, leave the others, they're useless," and basically they left. All of the students were rescued. All of the Dark Guild member were arrested. Because being in the Dark Guild is basically a crime, because a Dark Guild is literally, they steal from people, they kill people, they try to stop adventurers from basically being able to be adventurers by killing them, stealing all of that they have, and basically stuff like that. Um, some of those guilds are also known to actually breed monsters to be extremely powerful and try to release them in small villages and stuff like that to basically kill everyone. So this was basically their first time at, well, against Dark Guilds, Dark Guild member, and, well, big ass monsters for Deku. Like, he fought monsters, but never something like that. Deku basically goes and explains to him that it might have been made to actually kill you, and basically tells All Might the quirks that were in it. Which All Might is a bit shocked that, oh god, they were trying to kill me. Bakugo as Deku, um, well, how strong the quirks are, which Deku basically says that from the description of it, the regeneration quirk is a lot stronger, but has a flaw compared to the one he already has thanks to his slime. Basically, whenever he's hurt, his slime basically takes over automatically, so even if his head is blown off, it kind of regenerates. Some memory loss could happen if the head is destroyed, but he can still survive. Um, this one is for the entire body, except that if the brain is destroyed or damaged, you're basically done for. It's over. So after that, he explained that the shock absorption basically is made to take any types of shock, explosions, physical hits, like he could probably fall from the top of a cliff and doesn't even feel it. It has a limit though. And then for the intelligence quirk, he basically explained that if an animal has that, he cannot talk. He can think of ways to fight and could probably use magic. The monster did seem to have an affinity for fire, but didn't seem to know how to use it, so he doesn't know for sure. So they decide that they're going to not go to any other places like that for an entire week, but they tell everyone that they're going to go on a small party adventure outside of the city for a week of training while they try to investigate how the Dark Guild could have known where they were going. And that's where we end up. Hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. Um, if you have any questions or anything you want to say, tell it in the comment section. After that, oh yeah, also, I'm going to leave my link to my Discord in the um, description. Come and join us. The party is basically on 24/7 if you want to. So, yeah. Hope you liked it. Natsu, out.